So how's the apartment real estate market? Are prices gonna go up? Are they gonna go down? Is this a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Maybe it's a good time to refinance. What is going on with interest rates? Today, I'm gonna answer all those questions. This is your Q3 market update for Long Beach Fourplexes. Hi everyone, Juan here, president of Sage Real Estate, your Fourplex market leader and the highest rated apartment broker in the city of Long Beach. I tell everyone I'm an apartment investor first and broker second. And because of that, I get to have conversations with landlords, with investors, with people getting started, with people getting out of the market. And here are the main issues concerning us today. The biggest question I get right now is the eviction moratorium. And on one hand, I get people saying, okay, the eviction moratorium is over. We're gonna get flooded with all these evictions and there's gonna be a bunch of vacancies that are gonna drive down the values. I don't see that happening. First off, let's really look at what's been happening. Some have been unable to pay rent. Not the majority of the tenants. From all of our interviews that we've done with property managers in our past videos, 90 to 95% of tenancies have paid. On top of that, the city created this program, rental relief program, where a lot of the landlords have been able to get some of that proceeds back, including ourselves. You know, our tenants were unable to keep up with some of the rental payments we had in arrears. We went through the process, lengthy process, but we did get help as landlords. That certainly assisted the tenants. So I don't see this big wave of evictions coming. I think it's just going to be pretty much normal, and it's not going to have this big impact one way or the other on the rental market. It's not going to have an impact on values. It's not. With the eviction moratorium being over, there's three things that people are talking about, and I just don't see this happening. I don't see a lot of people hitting the market wanting to sell their property to now get out. I don't see foreclosures happening. That's not going to happen. People simply have way too much equity. There was no need to foreclose on a property that has tons of equity. Will never happen. And third, I don't see a lot of evictions happening. There's a lot of protections in place to prevent that from happening. And I just don't see this dramatic negative effect from either side, whether you're an apartment owner or a tenant. Our second major issue is the potential of losing the 1031 option. A lot of apartment owners that I have, a lot of my friends have owned apartment buildings for many, many years, and their response is, I'm never gonna sell. However, that narrative, that conversation is changing now, because in back of their head, they're thinking, what am I going to do if I lose that option of being able to have the liberty of doing a 1031 exchange? And for those who don't know what that is, that's simply allowing them to sell this property, buy another one, and deferring the tax payment for that point. Ultimately, they're gonna pay taxes, just not at that moment. That right now is getting pushed through Congress. They might pass it, they may not. But for that reason, some of the folks that were never gonna sell are a little concerned, and they should be. And so if you're an owner, this might be a time to give us a call and let's have that conversation today. Our third issue typically comes from buyers, investors, people that are just getting started. And their number one question to me is, I believe in buying real estate. I believe in creating wealth through apartment ownership, but I'm just gonna wait. And I asked them, what are you gonna wait for? And they're like, I'm gonna wait for property values to drop. And let me tell you guys right now that if that is your mindset, that is not going to happen. What happened in 2008 was the Great Recession. We typically don't see that big of a drop, okay? We hadn't seen that in over 100 years. And so to expect a 30% drop today, it's not on the table, folks. And so all you're doing, if you're someone who's thinking I'm gonna wait, all you're really doing is deferring wealth accumulation. You're deferring wealth accumulation, because what we know for a fact is that if you buy $1 million fourplex today, 12 years from now, it's going to be a $2 million fourplex. Why are you delaying yourself? Like, why are you not taking that risk? And for those folks that call me and say, I only want to buy if I cash flow, let me give you guys a scenario. What cash flow looks like in Southern California when you just get started because prices are high. What I've seen on the best case scenario with very little down, cash flow equates to $200 a month cash flow. That's $1,200 in a year, okay? We've come up to the point that cash flow is not king, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if $1,200 is important to you, and for that reason you're not gonna buy a property, well, appreciation trends that we've been seeing is increasing. So real estate values are increasing by 6.3%. So if you buy $1 million fourplex, you've made $60,000 by simply buying it and waiting a year and doing nothing else. And so when I compare $60,000 to $1,200, or maybe zero because we made no cash flow but it broke even, I will sign up for that $60,000 appreciation every single day. And so that's what I want you folks to think of. So instead of having that narrative of cash flow is so important, cash flow is not important. Let's simply buy something, get to a break-even point, hold that property, and I guarantee you that property is going to double within a 10 to 12 year period. Our fourth issue is, what are interest rates going to do? Okay, so the Feds came out, they're going to raise their rates. Right now, it is not trickling down to the mortgage interest rate, so we're not really seeing a big shift, not a major shift. From the economists that I follow, the experts that I look to, they're expecting interest rates to remain the same through the end of 2022. So for those folks who are expecting these values to drop, I don't see that, because the number one driver for our real estate market right now, the number one driver is low interest rates. And so certainly if interest rates go up, it's gonna maybe level us out. So we don't know the future, but I expect all of next year to continue with really good rates. If that happens, two things are going to happen. Properties are going to continue selling quicker. They're going to sell for more. And so for anyone who's holding back, and waiting for this to happen, they're only going to put themselves in a situation to have to pay more for that property months from today. Our fifth and final issue is, it's getting trickier and trickier being a landlord. Now, does that mean that because it's getting trickier, you shouldn't take that first step of being a landlord? No, we should. But one thing we need to know is that whether on the federal level, state level, city level, laws are getting more anti-landlord. They simply are. They are not for landlords, okay? They treat all landlords the same, whether you're independent, whether you're mom and pop or some major corporation. We're all under the same umbrella, and the laws are getting trickier. For that reason, we've created a new Facebook group that I'd like to invite you folks to be a part of, and that's the Landlords of Long Beach, so LOL. And the reason for this group is so that we unite, we are able to be stronger in our numbers, and we're able to fight back. Because I've always said from the beginning, you're either at the table or you're on the plate. So I invite you to join, find our group, and this is where we're going to keep you guys updated on everything having to do with laws impacting the way you own and manage your apartment buildings. Now, the biggest question I get is, Juan, how is the market doing? Today, we're going to talk about Q3 specific to fourplexes, since we are the market leaders when it comes to 4 units. We're going to look back at Q1, Q2, compare. Are we doing better? Are we doing worse? Are we on track? And we're also gonna let this give us an indication of what to expect in the future. Okay, with that being said, let's get into the numbers. And today I'm super excited. I have a new co-host, my beautiful daughter, Solana.
Hi, everyone.
So let's get into the closed sales. Solana, in Q3, tell us, how many closed sales did we have?
In Q3, there was 26 sales.
Okay, so there you have it. In Q3, there were 26 sales, which is actually down from Q2. Q2, there was 38 sales, so we're down by 46% in sales. Not too alarming, and I'll tell you why. In Q1, we also had 26 sales. And for those of you who have been watching our videos and all of our market updates, what we know is prior to 2020, prior to the pandemic period, traditionally we were selling 100 fourplexes per year. We are right back on track, and so the market is doing good. So in Q3, how long did it take to sell a fourplex?
It took 31 days to sell a fourplex.
Okay, so it took 31 days to sell a fourplex, which is actually down by 54%, because in Q2 it was taking 57 days. And so the fact that fourplexes are moving sooner and quicker is very, very good news for sellers. Tough if you're a buyer, because we know that you need to be active, you need to be putting a lot of offers in, and things are selling faster. And actually, when we compare to Q1, we're down tremendously. Q1, we were at 35 days, Q2, 57 days, so 31 days is some of the lowest that we've seen since we've been tracking this. So very, very good news for the market overall. As a fourplex owner, it's really, really important to know inventory. And inventory, we found that no one else is tracking it. No one anywhere is tracking it but us here at Sage Real Estate. So, Solana, tell us, how did the inventory look for Q3?
I just forgot what to say.
25.
25.
So the inventory, the average inventory, Q3 was 25, Q2 was 24, Q1 it was 27. So right in line, no major shift. When I compare the inventory of 25 fourplexes on the market, it's hanging tight for the year of 2021, but when we looked at prior years, we're significantly lower. So what we have is, and what we're seeing right now is properties are selling faster, so lower days on market. We're gonna get into the average sales price soon, but they're selling for more, and there's less inventory. So again, if you're an owner, there's less competition. So if you're an owner and you're trying to time the market, you're trying to maybe sell your property, get out of state, or do the 1031 before it potentially gets eliminated, this would be a really good time, if not the best time to consider selling. Let's talk about the average sales price for a fourplex in Q3. Solana, what is that?
1.5 million.
Wow, 1.5 million. Now, why that's an interesting number is that that's the highest that I've seen, the highest for any quarter that we've been looking at specifically. Now, the main reason for it is we had one of the largest fourplex sales ever. We had a fourplex on Ocean, beautiful property right here in this neighborhood, sell for 3.5 million. So it really pulled that average sales price up by 24% when we look at quarter two and quarter three, we were at 1.2 million, which it's already significantly up for when we compare to all of 2020. But in quarter three, we had this massive increase. Again, I don't expect another $3.5 million sale for a fourplex in quarter four. So I would imagine that's gonna trickle back down. I mean, the average sales value, which is right around 1.2 million. So there you have it. That is your quarter three market update for the fourplexes in Long Beach. Again, if you're an owner, you're thinking, is this a good time to sell? I want to offer you a free consultation for a couple things. One, a free property valuation. This is where we commit up to a full day of analysis to your specific property, letting you know what your property is worth today. Also, let us look at your interest rate. If your interest rate is not in the threes, then please give us a call. We've just opened up our newest branch that we're calling Sage Trust Mortgage, where we're gonna go through, audit your interest rate, and if we could beat it, we're gonna certainly recommend that we bring down that cost of capital. You have nothing to lose by letting us take a look at where you're currently at. And also, if you're a landlord, I wanna invite you to our Facebook group, Landlords of Long Beach. Go ahead and give us a follow there. And if you're a buyer and some days you wake up and you're ready to go, but someone tells you to wait because the market's gonna collapse, or someone tells you to buy out of state, I offer you a free 15-minute Zoom consultation with my team where we can answer any of those questions, anything that's holding you back, because I know regular people, normal people are investing in real estate every single day, and you can too. So there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If there's a topic that we haven't covered, if there's a video that you want to see, please let us know in the comments. Solana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.